the excitement of a new year can come a lot of toxic temptations to buy that discounted gym membership. It's not a bad thing if you decide, I want to move my body more. How can we recenter from all of the talk about, let's start that new diet to lose weight? Let's go to the gym because you think you're lazy and need to change the way you look, and it's really motivated out of this hatred and this dislike for your body. If Hailey Bieber dressed in sweats with no makeup showing up to Justin's premiere, she would be roasted alive, but like Justin did it for her glazed donut thing, and it was just like comedy, and that's so Justin. The way that women have this extra obstacle of how we look when we try to do things in life, that's just not given to men. That's another added obstacle that we don't have to jump through if we don't want to, but if we want to, all the power to you. But remembering your worth has nothing to do with your appearance. Am I heavier? I could lose 10 pounds. The reason that I haven't given into that voice or started a diet and really tried to remain resilient is I thought would be really helpful and needed for myself too, but hopefully you all will enjoy this, about reaffirming how we feel about our bodies, because along with, the excitement of a new year can come a lot of toxic temptations to buy that discounted gym membership, which, okay, it's not a bad thing if you decide like, I want to move my body more, right? Like that's great. I want to focus today on how can we recenter from all of the talk about, let's start that new diet to lose weight. Let's go to the gym because you think you're lazy and need to change the way you look, and it's really motivated out of this hatred and this dislike for your body. And that's the reason why I'm going to record this today, is I want to make sure that anything that we approach in the new year is because we love ourselves and because we think it's going to bring us joy, and not because we feel like we need to change who we are, what we look like. And honestly, unfortunately, 2023 was the rise of a lot of, it felt like, new toxic diet culture trends. I mean, it was kind of like the sick, sad year of weight loss drugs, and, Ozempic became a household name, and then Majorno became one quickly afterwards. And, I don't feel any negative way towards anyone who maybe did that. I sympathize and I have compassion with the world we live in, constantly making us feel like we need to be as skinny as we can possibly be. And I don't want to make anyone feel shame for making an attempt to succumb to that, because before I got a healthy relationship with food in my body, I certainly did every diet and weighed myself, and I did all the things. So I can have compassion for people who might still be in that place. And honestly, like, the Ozempic thing was so apparent and so talked about and almost became such a trend that, like, it was hard for everyone to not think about, like, oh wow, they invented this seemingly magic thing that, like, when you take it, you're just going to drop lots of weight, and there appears to be no terrible side effect. Like, I'm not a scientist, but I listened to the Maintenance Phase podcast on Ozempic. I love that podcast. They're so great at debunking things. And I don't want to say, like, unfortunately, but you almost wish with something like that. Well, I guess the biggest negative repercussion was the amount of people who have diabetes who were unable to access the drug that they needed for that when people were using it who didn't have diabetes just for weight loss. So of course it's layered and there's lots of issues there. But I guess my point is, like, yeah, I certainly had my days where I was like, damn, like, if this came out when I was 17 or 18, like, I would have taken it. And I'm grateful that it didn't, because then, I didn't do that, and I'm at a different place now. But, like, to anyone who's been in a good place with their body and had thoughts of, not doing it, but just like a voice in your head being like, wow, like, someone finally came up with that thing that all of our diet voices had once wished. It's just kind of, it's weird. It's a weird place to be. But that's why I'm making this podcast today, because I think it's always great to affirm our bodies and remember what we really want. And what we really want is peace. We want peace with our bodies. We want peace with ourselves, we want peace with food. And, whether this is true or not, because I don't weigh myself, so I'd have no idea. And I don't ask people this, but this is Real Pod. And I've just felt like the past few months of 2023, I have had thoughts of like, am I heavier than I usually am? Have I gained weight? Do my friends or family or Max think I've gained weight? But of course they'd never say anything because I've told them not to say anything. Like, I don't know. I made that Instagram post that you guys saw where I literally opened it with like a quote. I could lose 10 pounds. And I said, like, that's a comment that a voice in my head has been saying over and over to me recently. And, the reason that I haven't given in to that voice or started a diet and really tried to remain resilient in the healthy place I am at is by remembering what I really want, which is peace, to be happy, to enjoy my life. And I do that by living in the body that I am in today. And a body that my body being 10 pounds lighter is not a joyous, happy, peaceful life for me. It's not. I've taken that route before and it's not fun. And it causes a lot of anxiety and stress, and then I start binge eating, and then I'm crying, and then I'm unhappy, and then I'm weighing myself. It's a cycle and a yo-yo and a road I've been down many times before that I don't want to go down. And it comes back to reminding myself what I really want, which is peace. And I know that if you're listening that today, that's what you want as well. So I took some time to really think about what are the 6 body affirmations that I really come back to a lot, live my life by, and think would help all of us who are trying to protect our peace and maintain that healthy relationship with our body image and with food. And so that's what today's episode is going to be. I'm really grateful that you tuned in, and we're going to get started right after this break. The first body affirmation that I want all of us to, and you know what, maybe we say it, maybe you say it out loud. I love that Affirmation song by Snoop Dogg. It was for children, but I very much listen to it frequently. And when you say the affirmations out loud, you just feel it, and you at least kind of speak it into your orbit. So I encourage you to say these affirmations, whether it's with me as I read them or after the podcast if you're taking notes, but please take these and use them however best helps you. So affirmation number 1, my body is the least interesting thing about me. My body is the least interesting thing about me. Now, I know we have heard this before. We've probably seen it time and time again, but that's because it's true. And the world is telling us that it's all about how we look. It's about the number on the scale. It's about the size of our clothes, but it's not. Our bodies are the least interesting thing about us. And they are just the least interesting thing. I mean, I'm just constantly disappointed when I see people in headlines and news and comments just in like wars about, has this celebrity gained weight? Have they like lost weight? Whether it's whatever direction, your body is the least interesting thing about you. And I want to read this post that one of my friends, Becca Tilley, shared years ago, but I always think about it and I love it. And I've had Becca on the podcast. She has an awesome episode if you're interested. But I'm going to read this because I think it's the perfect sprinkle to this affirmation. Becca writes, I had a moment the other day that really changed my perspective on how I view my physical appearance. I was thinking, no one has ever impacted me by being beautiful or having a perfect body. It might get my initial attention or even be inspiring in some way, but it's never been the reason I remembered them. I'm impacted by people for their kindness, their loyalty, their patience, their generosity, their vulnerability. I've never said, she changed my life because she was pretty and skinny. We spend so much time worrying about the thing that means the least to people. Gosh, I love that so much. I come back to it all the time, and it's so true. And I think it's the perfect sum up of this first affirmation. My body is the least interesting thing about me. There's so many beautiful things about you that will do so much good for this world and the people who love you and your friends and family. And it's not about what the number on the scale says. All right, my second affirmation. My worth has nothing to do with my appearance. My worth has nothing to do with my appearance. Now, the first little caveat I'll say before explaining this one is this does not mean that you shouldn't enjoy putting on beautiful makeup or clothes or, all that stuff, doing your hair. I love that stuff. I feel like that's been something I've been having so much fun with in my personal life the past 2 years has been working on style and getting better at makeup. And it honestly brings me joy. But it's doing that and knowing that I would also love myself and be cool with myself without it. And actually, I've recently been posting about this on Instagram of just not wearing makeup when I go out all the time. And I think I got in this phase where I was having a lot of fun doing my makeup. And then I started to feel like, oh, I'm just tired and I'd just rather put on my outfit and leave and I don't want to do my makeup. And then I thought to myself, oh, well then will I not be put together and they're going to think I didn't care about the event. And I'm like, well, no one thinks that about men when they don't have makeup on majority of the time. So I've started to be more empowered to wear no makeup and have a natural face and feel just as confident. And so I think with the second affirmation, my worth has nothing to do with my appearance. It's about knowing that you have the ability and are worthy of showing up at work, at an event, of eating food, of enjoying your life, of having fun, of liking yourself, being worthy for all of it, regardless of how you look. And I think if we can get to that place and we can remember that, it really instills this deep sense of confidence. And unfortunately, not to get too historic and by the book and anti-patriarchal, but the way that women have this extra obstacle of how we look when we try to do things in life, that's just not given to men. I know people refer to the Hailey Justin Bieber example of if Hailey Bieber dressed in sweats with no makeup showing up to Justin's premiere, she would be roasted alive. But Justin did it for her glazed donut thing and it was just comedy and that's so Justin. So, I think also just having that little feminist awareness of that's another added obstacle that we don't have to jump through if we don't want to. But if we want to, all the power to you. And most of the time, I love putting on makeup and I love getting my hair done. I love doing my hair and I love putting on a good outfit. But remembering your worth has nothing to do with your appearance. So that's number 2. Number 3, my body is uniquely special. I just think this one is so cute and precious. I'll say it one more time. My body is uniquely special. Comparison is everywhere. It's so tempting. I always like to remind myself that even if we all ate the same things and we did the same workouts and we did that year after year after year, we would all still look different because our bodies are different, because they're uniquely special. Some people just have a longer hip to floor length. Some people just have naturally bigger boobs than other people. Some people are taller, some people are shorter. There's no way we could ever look like someone else. And when we decide to kind of let go of that belief, that false belief, we can then start celebrating the things about us that make us unique and make us beautiful. And I feel like I've come to feel that with even my stretch marks. I have these stretch marks all under my right thigh. I have some on my left, but it's more on my right. And I remember the very first day being 13 or 14 years old where I noticed that my stretch marks showed when I was wearing my jean shorts or my jean skirt or my spandex, whatever it was, but looking and being oh my gosh, I can't cover it. And then to now be at this place in my life where I love them. And when I see them, I sometimes think, oh, let me take a picture. My stretchies, gosh, it's just coming so far. And it's really coming from that sense of appreciating that your body is unique and that it's doing these amazing things for you, which is another affirmation we're going to get to. And about comparison, something I've been thinking about a lot for the past few months, and I want to really carry this energy into the new year, is doing things because I want to do them or because I like the clothes or I like the color and not because I'm thinking about this other girl that I like and think is really cool and what would she like. I literally bought a pair of glasses recently and I walked in and I loved them and I thought, yes, I love these. And then instantly thought, oh, let me text this person or that person to get their thoughts. And then I was like, why even do that? Like, you like these sunglasses, you're wearing them, like, you get them. And so I got them. But then of course, later in the car, I'm thinking, oh, well, I should Google to see if any other celebrities have these glasses or who wears these glasses. So, my ego can identify with maybe these glasses make me a little bit more like this person. And then I just thought, you know what? Like, I have to stop doing that. I have to start doing things because I want to do them and because I'm uniquely special. And so I just think that little example like plays into this third point of not only is your body uniquely special, but you're uniquely special. And we don't have to constantly seek validation from other people when it comes to our decisions or us loving ourselves. Number 4, I vow to respect my body. I love this. This is something I picked up from my episode with Evelyn Triboulet when I asked her, I said, some people, it's so hard to love your body. And when people say, look in the mirror and look in the mirror naked and tell yourself you love yourself, like that is, I don't know, it's uncomfortable for me. That's not my route to get where I want to go, right? And so I was asking Evelyn, what if you don't feel like you can fully love every part of yourself, but you're also done with being negative? And Evelyn said, well, you can respect your body. You don't have to love it. That could be tough. But can we respect it? Can we treat it well? Can we use kind words when we talk about it? Can we fuel it and give it energy and the nutrition that it craves? Can we move it, take it outside, get up and, move our body? And then can we appreciate it for the things it allows us to do? And so this 4th affirmation, I vow to respect my body. I honestly think if there's one affirmation that you take from this whole episode, that's a really, really great place to start, is just coming back to this commitment to respect your body. And I think, look, there are people who, they want to work out more and they're not feeling great about their body because they're not, maybe they go upstairs and their heart's pounding and they're feeling winded after taking the stairs, and that never used to happen to them. Like, I relate to that, right? Like, we had stairs in our old apartment, but now we moved. And sometimes I'd go up them and be like, why am I winded after 3 flights of stairs? Like, Victoria, like you used to do insane workouts and, so I get that. And I started working out a lot more in 2023, and I hope to carry that energy in 2024. But I'm doing that because I love moving my body, and that's like an act of respect, right? So I don't want people to ever think that I'm saying like, you can't make changes that are positive for your mental health and your overall well-being that you want to make, but doing it out of a kindness and a love for yourself and a knowing that it's out of love. It's out of love. And so when I think about respecting my body, this is what I think of. And I'm just so grateful that Evelyn shared that. And if you didn't listen to that episode, check it out. It's amazing. Okay, we're almost done. We're getting close to 5 and 6. Affirmation number 5. I am allowed to fuel my body with food and enjoy doing it. I am allowed to fuel my body with food and enjoy doing it. I love this one, and I was very intentional with this addition to the end of the affirmation of and enjoy doing it, because sometimes I think I feel, this embarrassment of like, I love to eat. I fucking love to eat. Like, I love food. I live to eat. Like, when people say you eat to live or you live to eat, like, I love food, but I don't feel like I approach it in this old way I used to, where it was with binge eating, where it was like, maybe if you asked me, do you eat to live or live to eat? When I was in my binge eating disorder, I would say I live to eat, and I'd be so ashamed about it, because I'd be like, all I do is think about food and what I can eat next and what I can't eat. Like, I literally, my whole life revolves around food. So that was a very unhealthy, like, toxic thought pattern for me. But now, so it's like I have the same love. Like, I love eating. I love a good meal. I love a great restaurant. I really enjoy food. I care a lot about food, but it's in this healthy way where, like, I don't feel like I'm taking it away from myself and I'm going to go on this crash diet and there needs to be this obsession or this eating even when I'm not hungry or my body doesn't want it. But when I do sit down to eat, I really enjoy it and I love it. And so allowing yourselves to feel that, and it doesn't have to be this, not ladylike or quote gross or quote manly. Those are at least the things that come to my head when I think about, I love eating. It doesn't have to be that way. You can love eating and be confident in that. And honestly, over Thanksgiving, so this is like a month ago, I had a pretty unfortunate comment be made to me about food, which doesn't happen often because of how vocal I am. Like everyone in my circle knows my stance, which is nice. But someone who I was eating with said to me, or I sat down, I grabbed a lunch plate. This is the day after Thanksgiving, and I grabbed leftovers, and I grabbed 2 like brioche buns, and I cut them open and I put stuffing in them. So I had like 2 sandwiches and a lot of carrots. I mean, whatever. I don't need to qualify the plate. But I sat down to eat, and this person said to me, it was literally 1 o'clock, and we had a 6 o'clock dinner scheduled. And they were like, are you saving something like, well, I guess it's good that I kind of forgot the comment, but it was like, Vic, like, are you going to save room for dinner? Like, that little chuck. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, my brother looked at me like, did that person really just say that to you? Like, and I gave him the same look, like, yep, like some people don't get it. They don't read the room. But that comment was made to me as I sat down with this plate I just crafted and felt so good about. And this person's like, are you going to save room for dinner? And I'm thinking, and I just said, yep, I am. That was literally my response. And I didn't say anything else. And I honestly uncomfortably ate my lunch because, of course, I'm just sitting there thinking about this comment. But I'm proud of myself that I just said, yep, I am. And then I ate my lunch and I enjoyed it and I finished it all. And I really tried to kind of move past that comment. And I think, I just tell that story because of this affirmation of, and you're allowed to enjoy it. And, that's important to me. And this aspect of fueling your body, like your body deserves nutrition. It deserves energy. It deserves fuel. And even at times you're not hungry. It's okay to eat because you're happy or you're watching a movie or it sounds really good or you want to taste it. Like, as long as, you're keeping that mindfulness and that appreciation for your body at the center and you're staying aware, and I used to think if I eat a lot one day, I'm not allowed to eat the next day. But now I approach things more of a learning lesson of like, okay, how did I feel when I ate past satisfaction or I ate past fullness? I didn't feel great. Okay, well, next time I'll remember this and I'll really try to take that extra beat to think like once I'm past my point of satisfactory fullness, maybe I take this to go and I heat it up later when I'm hungry again. So just really having this growth mindset of like, I'm going to be growing with my body and growing with food. And so this 5th one, once again, is I'm allowed to fuel my body with food and enjoy doing it. And then finally, the 6th affirmation that I want to share with you. And it's the simplest one, and you probably saw it coming from a mile away, but it is, I am grateful for my body. I am grateful for my body. Gratitude has been such a key for me when it comes to maintaining a healthy relationship with my body image and with food, is just feeling so grateful to have this body that allows me to do these things, that I can go outside and I can walk and move my legs and I can run and I can feel my heartbeat pounding and I can feel the sweat droplets on my forehead, and that I can use my arms to hug somebody that I love and my fingers to type on my phone because posting on Instagram and connecting with all of you brings me joy, right? And no matter what your body looks like or if it's different than mine, all of us can close our eyes and come to this feeling of having a beating heart. I have this heart that pumps for me every day. If you're listening to this, your heart is working. And you can have gratitude for the fact that, honestly, this is like so crazy. You guys know I like to go on my like existential tangents. If you listen to my one Chaotic Solo where I talked about living in a simulation. But the other night I was just laying in bed and I was like feeling my heartbeat. You can either like feel it pulsing through your blood or you can like put your hand on your heart. And I was like, oh my God, like there's a heart inside of me. This kind of psyched me out too. I'm like, there's like this organ and it's pumping. Like I'm not thinking to tell it to pump. When I go to sleep, it'll keep going and it never stops. Your heart doesn't stop. I mean, unfortunately, one day all of our hearts will stop, but like right now it's going. And like, how insane is that? Like, how does the science and the beauty of creation work that like we have these hearts that like pump and they know where to pump the blood and then the blood knows where to go, and then we have these like cells that like do things. I sound so dumb, but you know what I mean? Like, can we tap into this amazement for our bodies, that they do these incredible things to keep us alive, and we don't even have to think about it. It's this body intelligence. And that to me is beautiful. It's mesmerizing. It has me at a loss for words. And when you open the magazine or the What I Eat in a Day video or whatever, it's pulling us into this surface level, superficial, like, what size jean are you? When it's like, dude, I have a fucking heart that's working without me thinking about it. Like, you know what I mean? And I just think that to me, like, tapping into that has allowed me to move my body because it brings me joy and be motivated to work out more, not because of a weight loss thing or a body image thing, but because I have this body that I can take care of. And so this final affirmation is, I am grateful for my body. And that is definitely a place to always go back to tap into on those days where you might feel like you're struggling, is just to journal what you're grateful for. Maybe it's a body part and you can list, why you're grateful for this body part because of what it allows you to do, and come back to gratitude. That's just always a good recipe, no matter what it is. So I'll quickly run through my 6 affirmations one more time. Number 1, my body is the least interesting thing about me. Number 2, my worth has nothing to do with my appearance. Number 3, my body is uniquely special. Number 4, I vow to respect my body. Number 5, I'm allowed to fuel my body with food and enjoy doing it. And number 6, I am grateful for my body. I hope that today's episode brought a little smile to your face. I hope it quelled some of that stress and anxiety that might be coming in with this idea of the new year. And I appreciate you tuning in and listening and spending some moments of your very first week of 2024 with me right here at Real Pod. I'm so excited for this year. I am so fired up about the pod. It feels like we're just getting started. We have so many amazing episodes in store. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss a Wednesday coming up, and I'll be back for you next week.